Welcome to Club Domingo, brought to you by Cyclone Comics.
You were going to say something, Tim?
I was. Shan't now.
Hold on. I'll put it on pause. No, I won't. So, good morning. How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Was that jazz hands that you were doing then?
No, it was hello
Oh,
hand.
that was jazz hands.
Goodness me.
Yes, I've almost drunk my cup of tea already, so I've got to pace myself, or else I'm
Oh
going
no.
to wet my pants.
You want to go and get another and a loose stop? I'll tell some stories out of school while you do that. No.
No, I think I'll be right. I think I'm
Okay.
okay. How's your week been? A pretty cruisy week.
Yes, it's been nothing but admin. Almost nothing but emails. Because I've been ignoring them for weeks, if not months, as much as possible, so I could finish the trade paperback.
Right.
And so I had 12, no, 2,000, I'm not exaggerating, like 2,000 unread emails in my inbox.
What?
Yeah,
How
and
can you be that popular?
I'm somebody who keeps it down to nothing because I'm on too many lists as well. So a lot of them is just chucking stuff away.
Right. Okay.
But it means that important stuff gets buried. So
Yeah.
yeah, which is very problematic. I just then before we got online, I just saw an email for an awards that the film probably would have been pretty good for, but we've missed it by a week. And I just emailed them saying any chance of a late submission. They just said no. So
Yeah, right. You're probably across things like Flickerfest and stuff like that, are you?
yeah, I am. But again, I haven't had the time to do anything about it. So that's what the next few nights will be. Because starting like today, maybe today's going to be an admin day. Today, Monday, is the start of of my proper work cycle. Now that the trade paperback is done, and my marking up until the very last set, which is only just came in last night, so I don't mark it for a week. All my other marking is done. And I've gotten through all those emails, which was my biggest issue.
Yeah.
My proper work cycle is going to start today. So Mondays
Yeah.
are going to be because we're filming on a Monday, kiddies at home. Monday, when I'm talking to you, is going to be an admin day. So more emails and looking into film festivals and blah blah blah. Prepping for teaching when that comes back online in about three or 4 weeks time. But the rest of the week, if I've got nothing to do, Monday to Friday, Tuesday to Friday will be nothing but greener pastures work. So tomorrow I start leathering the team up. Like tomorrow I actually start leathering team up.
Wow.
And Thursdays I'll be teaching in a month's time. But otherwise every weekday will be either Monday admin and Tuesday to Friday greener pastures. And then on the weekend, if we've got nothing on, I'll just keep going with
Yeah.
greener
Right.
pastures.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a position now where um, the work cycle is going to start happening. So
Yeah.
um,
Excellent.
yeah,
I'm in a similar position as well. Yeah.
yeah, you got rid of the freelance work.
Yeah. And yeah, all quiet on that front, and they've paid the bill, so that was good. So I'm in the clear, and it's funny. I was talking to you just on the weekend about pivoting and changing direction as to the order of what I do things in. And
Yeah,
for a while, it was going to be all Wolfman story, Wolfman story, Wolfman story, and there's been things happening beyond my control that just have been making it kind of unfun to start. Like, and then I saw this. I'm on a couple of writers' Facebook pages, and there's this lady that did a little film about. She's a established author, and her little film basically got into my head, and I was thinking about it. And she was saying, if the story's not coming easily, or there are things sort of like blocking you, advancing with the story, just to set it aside.
yeah,
Like you're bound to have more than one story in you, which I
yeah,
do. Just set it aside. There's no harm in doing it later and thinking about it a bit more, or like attending to the problems with the story further down the track. But don't let it stop you grabbing something that you want to do on the short term and starting that.
Yeah.
And
As long as it's not being replaced by procrastination, as long as it's
exactly.
being replaced by another useful job, proper job.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of that. That if your current creative work is finding creative block of some sort, let your subconscious work on it while you get on with the next creative job instead, and then go back to it.
And what I've been finding is that there's 2026 is being developing into the year of the werewolf, where there's just every man and his dog. See what I did there? Is doing a werewolf project.
Yeah.
You got Sean Keenan's Ned Kelly Werewolf Hunter that is coming out. And I just found out on the weekend that there's a Lauren Marshall and Kieran Jack project called Extinct, which is coming out as well, which is stomping around a similar kind of vibe I'm going for. And in the development of this Wolfman story that I'm producing, which has been on the cards for years now, there's a few other movies and things that have been stomping around.
Yeah.
My what would you call it? My basic premise and scene setups and things like that, to the point where I think I might just remove, because it's a fairly big project. So by the time it actually starts coming out, it might be a year down the track. So I felt that it probably would be smarter to bypass the heavy traffic that's happening in 2026 and get back to it at some stage down the track. And a lot of the work that is in that Wolfman story won't go to waste, because it informs the rest of the Jackaroo series as well. So I don't see it as I only see it as putting it off. And changing the order of my release projects. So I sort of came to that decision over the weekend, and I texted you about it. And you came up with some good questions when you sent that back to me as well, that your list of questions to the pros and cons of whether I should stick with it and jump the short-term hurdle, or set it aside and get onto something that would be more productive and fun to work on. So I'm opting for that, to get onto something that's a bit more fun and can be released fairly quickly as well. So that there's the joy of seeing stuff out in the wild. Yeah.
What were it was like 4 things that I kind of said, these are the things to consider, right? I said, oh no, there was more than 4. It was about how quickly you can get a project out, because sometimes that's a good thing,
Okay, well, just on that one, the Wolfman project would probably take quite a while to get out to the readers, but there's other things that I can do that will make the Jackaroo and Jackaroo projects and Morton Stone projects as well the readers a hell of a lot sooner.
Because when you texted me, you mentioned obviously Wolfman, because that's the crux of the issue, but you also mentioned the recoloring and remastering. And you didn't mention Morton Stone, but in my mind I'm going, oh, there's also Morton Stone, that maybe that's like the stopgap. I don't know, but I figured that the questions would be enough to get you to keep going with a train of thought to get where you need it.
So, and then the next one was, how important is it to get a project to readers quickly or not? And that's always something that pushes you forward. Is you don't want a huge gap between your last project and what you're working on now. So that's a balancing act. It's not the driver for me, but it is nice to get stuff out and get that feedback and have your profile out there as regularly as you can. So. Although, again, that's not a driver for why I do stuff. Which project is best to gather new readers? Well, for me, you hope that it's either character, like anything that goes out there that people pick up. But were you referring in particular to the Jackaroo projects?
No, I was, because you were wondering whether or not to do the Wolfman project or one of the other projects. I was wondering if any of this is important to you to gather new fans. So is there a project that would gather new fans, and therefore they'll be there ready when you do get back to the Wolfman project, if you decided to put that one aside?
Well,
So Yeah, and then the other side of that coin was, or do you just want to keep going and satisfy your old fans? And if so, is there a project that you should be doing to do
Yeah.
that?
Well, these deluxe editions of the Jackaroo, I think will satisfy new readers. Of course, that's the first story that featured him back in 1985 as well. So there's a jump on point there. And for old readers with the remastering, I think there'll be something there for them as well. So I think that
Yeah.
covers both of those points. Which project will you enjoy making the most? I think I'll enjoy all of them. But I think jumping on to the recoloring and continuing the original story would be the easiest and quickest thing for me to, achieve, and also to finish inking some story, a story for our Morton Stone collection, so that I can get that out as well. So I think if I was to start getting stuff out sooner rather than later, that will help me get my muscles up for doing the Wells project when the time comes. And which project will satisfy you most to complete? Well, any project that I complete is very satisfying. So, yeah, indeed.
Yeah. And then I ended the text with saying, I think the question, which one will you enjoy making the most, is probably the deciding factor, really.
There's
So
no
that you
losing,
just get
really.
something done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no losing. So, I'm going to put the werewolf project, the Wolfman project, off to one side for the time being. I'm going to continue coloring and remastering the old Jackaroo stuff with the intent of continuing and finishing that original story. And probably the first thing that'll come out before I finish coloring all that material will be a Morton Stone one shot. So
Yeah, cool.
yeah. So I think
Yeah. And
that's
you'll feel like you've got like quite a bit there in your catalog, kind of, for latecomers to continue to come and read while you get Wolfman up and running, so that's gonna land with a big thump for all of these people.
yeah.
It
Plus,
sounds really good to me.
yeah. There's no lose. There's not a
No,
losing
absolutely.
situation. It was just, like for the last, 3 or 4 years, it was always been Wolfman was the first project to get off the drawing board. And while I'm doing that, I can be working on the coloring. It's just a matter of reshuffling
Yeah.
intent, so that when I
Yeah.
finish the original Jackaroo story, I could flop straight into doing the Wolfman, because my production muscles will be up, because there's
Yeah.
3 or 4 issues of new material to finish off that Jackaroo story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I can roll straight into doing the Wolfman after that.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Sounds good.
yeah.
So when does that start?
What time is it now?
Exactly.
As in, this morning, before I pressed record and talked to you, I was going through my files. I was bringing out the Morton Stone files, and I've already started recoloring the Jackaroo stuff. So I'm just developing a routine now of morning inks on Morton Stone, and
Awesome.
an afternoon coloring of Jackaroo.
Oh, that's such a great setup. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that suits your physicality at the moment as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that means it'll be some Chaloner projects getting finished and out and about a hell of a lot sooner than waiting for a 48-page, 64-page Wolfman story to be finished before
Yeah.
anything else get released. So
Yeah. More Challenger more often. That's what I say.
just a readjustment of order of projects.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, it makes me feel great that you've started the system today. That's amazing.
yeah. Well, there's nothing holding me back, really. So
Yeah.
now it's like you. When you've got something to do, sit at the drawing board and do something. And,
Yeah, exactly.
And
Awesome.
and it's achievable, particularly the Morton Stone book, which
Yeah.
I have like 10 pages to ink, and I've got to finish coloring the cover, and I think that's it.
Yeah, cool. And it'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Are you telling people who the contributors are to that yet, or is that you want to wait?
I think there's been enough promo. Like I've posted stuff over the years as to what this book would have. It's a collection of short stories featuring Morton Stone, and Ryan Vella has done a story. Jason Paulos has done a story.
Amazing.
Let me get my little file out here. Talk to the kiddies while I dig around for a while.
And do I know who it is that you're inking at the moment? Is that who I'm thinking of? That you're
Dylan Naylor,
you're
doing a
inking.
Patricia meets Morton Stone story. So
Yeah.
I'm doing that. Matthew Dunn has done a couple of short stories.
Yeah.
Um,
This is a killer lineup.
yeah, Yeah, it is a good one.
So
So
this is going to be a one shot. Is that the idea?
initially, yes.
Yeah,
And then,
cool.
and then if there's material sort of gathered over the next couple of years by other people, I'll keep on producing, these single editions.
Yeah,
So it's going to be called Autopsy. So Autopsy number 1.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. So how many pages did you say? Sorry for this one. Do you think?
I think it's 64.
That's incredible. What
Yeah,
a chunky piece of work.
yeah. It'll be, of course, Matt Dunn has done a couple of stories, and so it's whether I produce both of them or just produce one will sort of be the page count difference.
Yeah.
I'm thinking perhaps just run a single story by Matthew Dunn so that there are single stories by different artists.
Yeah.
I think there'd be a bit of a balance upset if there was two stories by one artist and then single stories by other artists. So
Yeah. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
And it's black and white.
yes. And now the question I have, and that's a technical question, is whether I should publish it oversized like the Jackaroo material or keep it as standard US size, like Adventure Illustrated.
Yeah.
And the technical point of it is, I don't know whether Jason Paulos's art files that he sent me would sustain being blown up that little bit to the oversized size.
Yeah,
so I've got to go in there and find out how big his scans are. And if they're not big enough to sustain being blown up, then I'll just do a traditional size. Size.
See, at least like I don't ever have to worry about that. Like my comics are like almost always going to be comic book size. So it's like there's not that extra layer of angst of decision making.
I'm refusing to let it bug me like it would 5 years ago. I'm just letting it go. Just producing the book, getting it out there. Yes, if it needs to be US comic size it is. Get it out there. And Jackaroo ones can be oversized, and then when the collection comes for the Jackaroo at some stage down the track, perhaps that can be US comic size or not. Someone else's decision. Like
60 odd pages of creepy art by that crew that you've got in an oversized sounds pretty nice.
I mean, I'll oversize it if I can, but it all depends on, of course, the Jason Paulos story in particular was done many years ago. And he sent it through to me, and I asked him for high-res files, and he sent them through, just both of us on the assumption that 100% would be US comic size. So I'll just see how I go.
Are they digital or are they traditional and then scanned?
Yeah, I think they're digital.
Right, digital. So from scratch, they're digital. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's not like you can rescan the art.
Yeah. And if push comes to shove, the other option would be to do
dump Paulos. Just dump him for God's sake.
No, we can't dump the Jace.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but the option is floating
jokes, Jace. Just jokes, Jace.
Floating the pages in the middle of the oversized.
Nah.
Not ideal, but So that's what the problem I'm solving today is. I'm going to crack all those files and see what the master files, the original Photoshop files, actually look like, and whether it can.
So if you print it out at the oversized size, is that going to be enough proof to you that it's got enough resolution or not?
No, I'd go and find it. What if it's 300 DPI at US comic book size? I'm not going to like reinterpret the files.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because he's some of his line work on those in that story is quite fine, and it'll just become jaggy. It'll just look crappy. So I'm going for best results and not trim size. So and I'll just live with it. Same with when I get to the reprinting the single issues of Morton Stone that have been released so far that Gestalt did a reprint of the volume 1. I was going to reprint the individual issues as a 4-issue set, and that'll be based on what the scanned original artwork is like back in the day, whether they get the oversized treatment or I'm limited to sticking to US. And if the Morton stuff needs to stay US, so be it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Do you have the original art for that stuff to rescan, or is that back with Templesmith and Wood? I've
got the Templesmith stuff. The Wood stuff was with Ash, and he's sold it on many years ago. So cool. a lot of my stuff is, again, I've got to crack it open to find out whether they're A3 scans All I know, I think a lot of it is A3 scans. The only one I do know is that Jason came through at a much smaller size. So I
Yeah.
just need to double check well, if that can sustain being blown up or not.
Yep.
Being blown up.
Yeah, blow him up.
Yeah.
Flipping all us. So yeah, that'll be an easy decision to make once you see that, and
Yeah.
and then next step, off you go.
Yeah. So that's the plan. So that was the weekend, and me pivoting. Because there's so many culturally this year is so cram packed full of Wolfman stories that I'd get lost in the wash. So
You didn't even mention Bo's one as well on top of that.
of course, which has my werewolf character in it.
Yeah.
So,
an iteration of him. Yeah.
and I haven't had a chat to Bo yet about this, but I think his series is freestanding, doesn't affect what I'll be doing with my character anyway. But it is the first appearance of an iteration of what my werewolf character is about. But and then there's feature films coming out the wazoo. There's a big one by the guy that did Nosferatu. He's doing a werewolf film at the end of the year as well. Eggers, I think, Robert Eggers, I think the name is.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that. But so many. Of course, my antenna is out, and I'm on Facebook groups about werewolf movies and horror movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's so much coming out this year that I know werewolf stories and Wolfman stories are pretty popular at the best of times anyway.
Yeah.
But I'll just remove myself from that race and let someone else, let them all, get their stuff done, and I'll attack it when I'm ready.
Yeah. You'll show them how it's done.
Yeah. And as I said, there's so much stuff in my werewolf story that informs the rest of the Jackaroo world and characters and motivations that there's a lot of work there that's already been done that will inform what I'm doing in the other Jackaroo projects.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm being wasteful or anything like that. It's purely just moving the checkers around on the checkerboard.
Yeah.
The end result will be the same.
Yep. Cool. No, I'm excited. It's great. Whatever gets the pages out is what we want.
Yeah. So it might be a couple of months before I get Jackaroo #1, the deluxe edition, finished and out, and it might be a couple of months as well for that autopsy book to come out for Morton Stone, which under the circumstances, if I stuck to my first plan, those two projects wouldn't be out until much later, end of the year or even beginning of next year. So it's good to start getting some stuff out and getting that production rolling.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
I made a similar decision. I don't know if we chatted about it online, like on the show or not, but I had to make the decision of whether or not to do Greener Pastures #9 as the next camp off the rank, or Team Up #1. And Team Up #1 will probably take a third of the time. So I'm just doing that. And again, it'll get me excited, and it'll warm me up because it's mostly lettering and inking, because the interiors are penciled by Emmanuel Hernandez and penciled and inked by Jason Paulos. So like that is that workload already done. So I'm inking and I'm lettering and I'm doing a couple of covers, and that will feel fantastic to just get that done and get it out. And then I'll work on #9 in the third quarter of the year.
Yeah. And it's funny the way that happens.
Roll with the punches.
Roll with the punches. I was talking to Lee Chalker today, and I don't know whether you noticed on Facebook just this morning, he posted his first SpaceCreeps story that he produced with Ryan Vella.
Wow.
Little 4-page teaser with it looks fantastic.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
Black and white art, but it has a splash of color. You got to see it to believe it. It looks fantastic.
No, exciting.
Like last week, Ryan Vella released a Phantom, Phantom Pirate. What would you call it?
Bootleg.
A bootleg. Which I'm not going to say what it's called. But he and Lee Chalker.
It's called that Purple Guy, but not Guy.
Yeah, that's right. So Lee's been working with Vella on the Phantom stuff, and then on this SpaceCreeps thing. And he said to me this morning, it's funny, here I am working on Battle for Bustle and thinking that I'll be releasing the next issue of that first. And these two side projects come in and
Yeah.
beat everything to the post,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and is circulating out, and it wasn't even planned that way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, for him, it got the juices rolling again, and he and Villa is starting to be productive.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's great. It's fantastic. The whatever yeah, well whatever's gonna come to the fore, just roll with that and until it's done.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so the Phantom bootleg is penciled by Ryan Vella and then inked is that right? Have I got that?
Or I think so. Yeah, but their art combo, because they've done that before on Ring Around
Yeah, yeah.
the Rosie book, which yeah, that's being worked on as well. Um, all good.
Oh,
More projects, more often.
yeah, that's right. More comics more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought like since seeing Ryan's work like well early, like I don't know how many decades ago, like on Sunburner and he did a he did a team up with Anting and Sunburner, all mini comics and all like pretty below ground grungy stuff. I always thought like he'd be cool to have a crack at inking. Like the drawings are really solid, but they're quite alternate looking, and he puts a lot of detail in. Like they just look like they'd be really fun to attack with a different process, i.e., because I use a brush, so it'd be yeah. So anyway, trying to think, has he got what's he got IP wise, Ryan? Like I know Sunburner, but that's like 2 or 3 decades old now, like a
He's got
superhero
Battery Hen.
battery. Oh yeah, of course, Battery Hen.
Yeah.
I should hit him up and see if he wants to do pencils for a Greener Pastures team up, and I'll ink it because that would be great fun.
A bull and a battery hen.
And yeah, that's right.
Ultra violent, scratch and
Yeah,
sniff seal section.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway, exciting. I'm really glad that they're both getting some stuff out,
Yeah, yeah.
quick succession, and then Battle for Bustle will carry on at its own pace.
And I've seen some advanced art for those issues he's been working on, and it's just looking amazing. So
Yeah,
Lee's artwork is just going from level to level,
yeah,
and of course the the trouble he gets into with Lee with Ryan Vella, the cheeky stuff that they release.
yeah.
It's
I
good to
haven't.
see.
Yeah, they only released that image for the Phantom, that purple guy, like over the weekend, right? I haven't caught up to see if there's been any backlash or not yet. So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
no,
because
no,
I hope not, because there's that story of was it Matt Kime who was doing the was it the Demon?
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and which was a pastiche. It wasn't even a knockoff. It wasn't even a bootleg. It was kind of a pastiche of the whole kind of feel and look and genre of Phantom comic strips from back in the 50s, I guess, 50s, 60s maybe. And who is it? Who's the IP holder? King Features.
King features. Yeah.
Yeah, made him stop. So yeah, they yeah, Ryan and Lee might be hearing from King Features, but I hope not.
I don't think they'd give a shit.
Yeah, well, that's right. Okay, we'll stop.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done it now. There's that great story of um, Dave Sim Cerebus. He's got a parody character called the Cockroach, and it parodied the first time it parodied anybody was like a weakish parody of Batman. So it was instead of Batman, it was the Cockroach. And then he did a Captain America parody, Captain Cockroach. And then he did the Wolveroach, which was parodying.
Wolveroach. Yes.
Yeah, and he did 3 covers in a row that were homages, rip-offs of the covers that Frank Miller was doing for the Wolverine miniseries. So full face and of like no Cerebus to be seen. It was just Wolveroach on the cover, and he got a cease and desist. But there was such good camaraderie at that point between both the indies and the mainstream that I believe like a lot of people don't like Jim Shooter, but I believe it was Jim Shooter who spoke to the lawyers and said, no, we're going to sell him a license for $1 to let him do what he's doing, for those 3 issues, and then he's got to get the Wolveroach off the cover. But let's find that middle ground. Oh, you haven't heard that before? That was
No,
that
no,
was
no.
that was. I mean, he continued to use Wolveroach internally, and Moonroach, which was a pastiche of Moon
Yeah,
Knight, and etc. He like kept on going. But because it was mostly interior and he was changing the character and it was obviously a parody, but having it on the cover was getting too close to you're just making money off of Wolverine, not off the parody, right? But yeah, that was a good kind of outcome for everybody concerned.
yeah,
Everybody was
yeah.
talking about it. Both Marvel and Aardvark Vanaheim were benefiting from it to some extent, I think, and yeah.
That was breaking down doors as well, because I think today there are so many rips of those
That's
famous
right.
covers all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How many times has that famous Jim Lee X-Men cover been with, is it Captain America and Wolverine
Yeah.
and
Oh my God. There is a reason why it's on my phone right now. That
oh, is it really?
yeah, where is it? Just to
Wow.
show the kiddies at home. I don't know. Anyway, I downloaded it recently and put it on my phone because I've been doing sketches for In Pastures Team Up #1 and like that. I'm going,
Oh
oh, I'll
God.
do that Jim Lee X-Men cover with Trevor,
Uh,
Rufus, and Hairbutt.
oh,
And even if I don't do it, it was a great lesson because I'm going, how do I arrange these 3 characters in an interesting manner? And it's like it's totally triangle and looking out at the viewer the whole time. And then you look at Jim Lee's X-Men cover with Captain America, Wolverine, and Black Widow, and you go, oh, they're kind of 3/4 looking out to the side, and like, why didn't I try that? Why didn't I try that? So even if I don't do it, and I'm still kind of just contemplating it. Um, at least I've learned
yeah,
like I've just got
yeah.
to break out of whatever. Like I just was drawing a triplet in a triangle shape with Trevor at the front, Trevor at the back, over and over again, trying to figure out a way to break that as a design for a cover. Not trying to do an action cover where they're all fighting or anything like that. Just trying to do a character-oriented cover.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it was. How did that come up? Did somebody mention it? I think somebody mentioned it in something I was looking at. And I was going, oh, of course. And I went and looked straight for it and downloaded the version and did a few really rough sketches to see how that would feel. Haven't talked to Darren about that yet. I kind of, especially when it's so mainstream, I often like send something to Darren Close, the creator of Killaroo, and say, what, like, would this be cool? Because we're going to do I'm going to pencil and he's going to ink a Oz Comics specific cover for
Ah,
Team One.
right, right.
I think we've talked about this before, and we've been chatting about that as well. Like, it's going to be
Right.
more mainstreamy fisticuffs sort of.
Of course, Darren
Thing.
himself has done an homage of that Jim Lee cover for a Killaroo
Mm,
cover.
that's right.
Yeah,
Or was it Stuart Black, or was it Stuart Black as well, who's done a homage to that
yeah.
with one of his covers?
A
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
swag of people. Yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah,
a good cover.
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Oh no, not a good cover, says Gary.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. I don't want to start any what is it, outrage happening out there. Hey, speaking of outrage, I will
Oh,
start some
how about
outrage.
we change the subject quickly before we get into trouble? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, as I get older, as
Mm,
I get older, I'm finding that I like Gil Kane stuff less and less and less and less
yeah,
as a finisher. I see his covers that he did in the 70s for Marvel, which were and as a layout artist, he as a superhero comic layout artist, cover layout artist, he is fantastic. But what I don't like is his peeled back skin inking, like where everything is in uber
yeah,
detail and
yeah, yeah,
the poses. I can't deny he's a fantastic layout artist, but I
yeah,
just don't like his finish of
yeah,
his art.
yeah,
From his Western covers, his horse anatomy and layout and stuff like that. His layouts are absolutely brilliant, but boy, I just don't like the way he finishes things.
yeah. I I I can remember, seeing as a because I don't read a lot of superhero comics anymore, even the old ones. But I can remember when I was like fully into superhero comics. I don't know, age 10 to 18, 16. Um, and being really attracted to Gil Kane's work, but also not liking it at the same time. So there was stuff in there that I wanted, and I always felt like the finish of it was the problem. Um,
Exactly.
and
Yes.
yeah, if I was going to do a deep dive, I'd have a look to see what someone like Klaus Janson would have done. Like I'm sure that he would have inked something at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. You know what I saw a couple of months ago? I think it was Gil Kane pencils finished off by John Severin. And
Oh, right. Oh my
that
God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be interesting to look at. Absolutely.
I'll
Because
pick
they
it up.
don't ever feel like anytime I see pencils, they don't feel like they're finished pencils. And anytime I see him ink himself, I feel like he's not given it the appropriate attention that it should get.
Mm.
It always feels rushed. I hate talking negatively about other artists because there are reasons why he did it, and I expected he thought that he was doing the work that he wanted to be doing, right? But so to pick on it is it goes against the grain for me a bit. But
Yeah. Yeah.
as a reader who was reading mostly for the art, it's like I just want this to be that step up better. So yeah, a finisher like John Severin, a finisher like Klaus Janson, you could see that they would like absolutely not ignore what Gil was laying down, but definitely would work up on top of it a bit more.
Yeah.
Um, I saw I was a member of the Facebook group, the Marvel Method, for about a week and had to get out because it seemed like every post was just, this is what Jim Shooter did. It wasn't he an evil man? And this is what Stan Lee did. Wasn't he an evil man? It's like, oh, I'm not learning anything from this other than to
Yeah.
hate the comics I loved as a kid. But not that it's not important. That historical stuff is fine, but that's not what I want in my 5 minutes of social media feed. But it continues to be, now that I'm out, it continues to be presented to me via the algorithm anyway. But I saw some pencils versus inks of Jack Kirby and um, Wood. What's his name?
Wallywood.
Wally Wood on Space Rangers. A space strip like for the
Yeah.
newspaper that
What
they were
was
doing.
that? What was that?
Yeah, yeah. But it was interesting because they actually had imagery of two steps in Wallywood's inking over Jack Kirby. So Wallywood was definitely trying to modernize it to the
Yeah.
contemporary feel that he was after. So he would do really kind of base line work with very little shading or line weight distribution, very much just laying out what was there, and then erase all the pencils. There wasn't a lot there pencil wise. Anyway, really, I felt more like layouts.
Right.
And then he would go in and just Wally Woodize it the whole,
Yeah. Yeah.
to death. So these amazing backgrounds, but even like the machinery in the background of the spaceship, right? Which we all go, oh, that's Wally Wood machinery. It was Jack Kirby's, doodads all over the place, and then Wally would do that EC kind of inking over it
Yeah.
that make it feel like it's Wally Wood machinery. So it was really interesting to see
Yeah.
that the actual layout of the shapes and the banding and everything was coming from that early Kirby, but then Wally Wood was making it look like Wally Wood as well. So yeah, all
Yeah.
of that stuff, that finishing, from rough to finish, at if you get the right inker, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, not to put a finer point on it, I'm complimenting Gil Kane for his layouts. I reckon they're without fault. They're exciting. They're interesting. They're innovative. For a
Yeah,
superhero or action or Western comic, they were right up there. And I'm getting a lot out of seeing those old things. Less about his finishing, more about his approach
yeah,
to what is an interesting angle that
yeah,
is not boring. And his layouts are never boring.
yeah. And you learn a bit about his stylized anatomy very easily through that as well, because it's pretty on show. And yeah, 3D anatomy constructed incredibly well,
Yeah.
always believable construction, even though it's very contorted. Again, someone who, like, every so often I'll find a pencil page or splash from him, and I'll download it in the hopes that one day I'll sit and ink it, because
Have
it'd
time
be,
to ink it.
yeah, it'd be interesting to have a crack at it.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
some great stuff there. He's like, again, as a kid, getting the black and white reprint comics from the newsagent of the Marvel team up stuff, because he did team up for ages,
Yeah.
and it's like, is this one got Kane in it, or Sal? You know, Sal Buscema or Gil Kane? And either way, it was like exciting, but they were both very much journeymen
Mm,
for that, you know. And then it's at that point that I was really learning about what a penciler versus an inker does, because you would see both of those guys being inked by different people almost every issue, maybe, because it was getting, you know, turned around pretty quickly, or you know,
yeah,
maybe not given the same kind of attention that the Avengers might be getting, or whatever,
yeah,
in the production room. So
yeah.
yeah,
And
um,
I'd imagine that Gil Kane would be so difficult to swamp. I mean, John Severin,
oh, for sure.
that cover that I was mentioning before, they kind of evened each other out,
Mm,
and you could see I could see Gil Kane there, but I could also see John Severin in a big way, and it was a perfect merging. Like, I
mm,
think John Buscema inked by Alfredo Alcala on some of those
mhm.
Savage Sword black and white art, where Alfredo Alcala went over the top with his
Yeah.
chiseled inking style, and it was just, it was match made in heaven.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, you can disagree with me if you disagree with me, because I'd like to hear it. But I feel like Gil can sometimes be kind of stilted, because he's very constructionist with the way that he does anatomy. I love seeing his half-finished pencils with the constructions on the faces. Like, it's just so like made out of 3D
Mm-hmm.
shapes, etc. So that can be a little, that can kind of be a little bit staid, despite all of the dynamic anatomy and dynamic layouts that he can do. Sometimes it can deaden it. But I've always felt like Severin is kind of pretty quiet and
Yeah,
stayed as well. So it'd be interesting to see
conservative,
if
very conservative.
yeah, yeah, see if the two of them kind of build on each other in a different way. So yeah, I might,
I'll see if I can dig it up, and I'll post it here for us to,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd love to see it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
very cool.
But if you
That was,
think,
go ahead.
I was going to say, if you think that they would be mismatched in a big way, but it was
Yeah.
actually fairly sweet. The results was, I thought, wow, more of that, please. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think I've said it before in my, because I've read so much John Byrne, and at the later end of his career, I wasn't so excited about how he was operating. The run on Wolverine that he did, that Klaus Janson inked, most people hate it, and I'm going, no, that's really exciting. Like, it's I'd much rather see that for a year or two,
yeah,
because it's just a great way to look at someone's work that I've been looking at for 20 years already. It was something that we kind of skipped over a bit when Sal Buscema passed away, and I had it in my notes, and we kind of moved along before I got to them. Was Sal's inking over Barry Windsor Smith was always really interesting as well, to the point where sometimes I'm not even sure if it's Smith or Buscema, like who's doing what. The Sal Buscema mouth, you know, is like, was Barry doing it like that, or was Sal just overriding it? And so yeah, I again, in the black and white reprints, I love that early Barry Windsor Smith with Sal's inking particularly.
and
Um,
the other way, where we had Sal's pencils or layouts with Bill Sienkiewicz finishing
oh,
Sal off.
Jeepers, absolutely. Again, it's like been looking at Sal's work for 20 or 30 years, and then to have Sienkiewicz over the top, yeah, that's
Fresh coat of
exciting.
paint, fresh coat of paint.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
But the pages
It's
I,
it's it's one really interesting thing about mainstream comics, right? That production line version of comics is you get these really interesting conglomerations of art styles that you wouldn't otherwise get. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, outrage, because Gil Kane is such a
Outrage.
towering figure in comics.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, his layouts, I'm really digging the ones that I've seen.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. Anyway, so
Cool. That came out of nowhere.
yeah. What else we got? What are we going to chat about?
Oh my God. Did you want to do that email is
Oh,
there, or
yeah.
should we save that till next week now?
What's our email address?
That would be clubdamingo at cyclonecomics.com.au.
.com.au.
That's it.
That's the one. And we got one
Domingo
from
DA.
DA. We got an email this week, just overnight, by our friend Rook again, and he's asked some more interesting questions, which I'll read the email.
Do that. I
Hi,
want to know who
Gary.
Rook is. Who's Rook? Who's this Rook guy? Girl, fella, person. Who's this Rook person?
He's
I
a
love
mystery.
it.
They are a mystery person.
Keep sending us emails.
Yes. Anyway, Mr. Rook, Rook says, I enjoy your in-depth paper stock analysis. We've been talking about paper stocks in the last couple of shows.
Yeah.
I hadn't previously considered the depth of ink penetration in comic book production before. I found it quite illuminating, which was a good point. I'm interested in hearing both of your thoughts regarding comic work attribution. Although many crave the limelight, others abhor it. And an example that he gives here is Marvel Comics author D.G. Chichester has credited some of his work to an Alan Smithy instead of D.G. Chichester, traditionally used by film directors in order to disown their projects. Many others have used pen names to dodge assumptions and prejudice to allow the work to speak for itself. And I'm inserting the thought here. I'm assuming he's referring to someone like a J.K. Rowling who released some work under a different name to see whether it would still sell. I'm curious if either of you have ever used a pseudonym. Do you find the use of a nom de plume in the comic business a thing of the past, or is it a continuing occurrence? The all-male writers group Man of Action and the all-female mangaka group Clamp both credit many of their works under a single name. Are you aware of any Australian comic collectives who credit their work under a single name? You've both been doing great work with Club Domingo. Oh, thanks, Rook, and hope you have an amazing day. Rook.
Thanks, Rook.
Yes. So, Tim, what do you think?
Oh, where do you want to start? Have you ever used a pseudonym? Pseudonym?
Only as a joke. In the early Cyclone days, there were a couple of stories where we, it was a homage creator-wise to the old Marvel naming method. And I know that Glenn Lumsden did a couple of pieces under the name of Charles Lindbergh. So it was more of a joke than of a existential dread of an experiment of using another creative name.
Yeah, I thought they were real people. Even Blair Wentworth, I thought that was a real person for a few issues.
Blair's real. Haven't you met her?
No, never met Blair Wentworth.
Oh, she was one of the first OzCons as well. She came along and helped set up, and she doesn't like making a big deal about things, so she left fairly quickly.
What does Blair do now?
What is Blair? She helps out every now and then. She's still dealing with Tad on some of the Dark Nebula stuff that is being released recently. So
very good.
Yeah,
fantastic.
But, she was hot for a while, and then she got off the boil, and Tad sort of tried to lure her back into doing some Dark Nebula editing for him. So
very cool. Okay, now I'm not sure if you're joking or not. They're real or not.
Hey, so anyway, that's the extent of my non-deplumage.
Yeah. I've never done it. Even when I should have done it, I never did it. There's been work I haven't signed, but not because I didn't want.
Why?
Not because I didn't want people to know, but maybe because I forgot, or it's
right.
It's commercial work that shouldn't have a signature on it. There's definitely work out there that I wish I hadn't signed, but I did.
Yes,
but I've never used a nom de plume.
And the only example I can give, which isn't really relevant, but it's the closest thing I can think of, was Scar, and that sort of came together because of their surnames, which was
and that's very much a symbiosis.
Yeah, Steve Carter and Antoinette Ryder become Scar, and they sign their work accordingly. Other than that, I don't think there are that many examples that I can think of Australian art teams going under a certain name.
Yeah, Man of Action that Rook mentions are an interesting example, because they had really set themselves up as a production house,
right,
to make IP, both original IP and licensed IP, for television as well as for comics. So it was a company name. I don't know about Clamp. I know who they are, as in I've heard of Clamp.
Right.
but I don't know what the workings are behind the scenes there.
Right.
But
Well,
those Man of Action guys came to a Supernova once, and they were really nice
ah,
guys and very interesting. But at that point, they were doing a Spider-Man television show, cartoon show,
right, gotcha.
as well as some comics. But yeah, is there a Michael Ficaris, what's the name of the
Silent Army,
Silent Army? Would that be an example?
maybe. Hmm.
Squish Face. I mean, they're like groups, co-ops sort of thing.
But
But
they don't sign individual
no,
projects
yeah,
as
yeah,
produced by the Squish Face Studio. Uh,
yeah.
so,
The Squish Face book that came out last year, was it? Definitely had the credits of everybody that was in there, and
yeah,
um, so yeah. And it'd be like again, even if they didn't have the credits in there, if I was looking through a copy of the book, what was the Squish Face book? I'm so bad with names, but wasn't Squish Book, was it? If I'd be able to tell you what page was done by who just from
mm,
looking at it.
yeah,
While the idea, I think, maybe with Clamp and Man of Action is that yes, it has a company look rather. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Um,
And I think back in the day, what Rook was referring to was things like the Krusty Bunkers, like a studio group of artists that were finishing work for deadlines, and they were just given a single name
yeah,
instead of individual
yeah,
credits in the credits.
yeah.
Um,
So again, reading a comic as a 10-year-old, let's say penciled by John Byrne and then inked by D. Hands, and you go, oh, I wonder who this inker is. And then as you're reading it, you go, oh, there's five different styles through here. So it's the hands of a bunch of inkers who all were given a few pages each.
diverse hands, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So, so yeah, and that whole that DG Chichester who was
yeah,
using Alan
yeah,
Smithy. Yeah,
yeah,
if you ever see a movie that's directed by Alan Smithy, it's not directed by Alan Smithy. It's directed by somebody who doesn't want their name on the movie. They hate it so much.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, it's a common pseudonym for that.
Oh, right,
Um,
okay, that's a thing, is it?
oh yeah, yeah. No, it's a well-known name that you utilize for that reason. Um, were they all the questions that Rook had there?
Yeah, yeah. Do you find that the use of an underplume in the comic business is a thing of the past, or is it a
Uh,
continuing occurrence? Yeah, I'm not across too many people
yeah.
using it beyond Man of Action and Clamp. Um, yeah,
Well, the way that I continue to see it happen is through uh, like having a handle on your Instagram, and then that
oh,
is how people know you, and then that's who makes the webtoon comic, and then when somebody picks it up like Penguin or whatever to publish it, it's like, well, what name am I going to use? So it's like I don't think it's a good practice if you
yeah,
want to be an ongoing creator with a name. I think it just confuses people.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
oh, there's that guy who lives in Melbourne who's been going to a number of the comic conventions in Sydney, but also internationally. I don't know if he does many comics, but he does a lot of illustration, and he still goes under his original internet handle, pseudonym, and everybody knows him by that. It's kind of like Cheeks, Cheeks Galloway. Everyone knew him as Cheeks for a long time before anyone knew his name was Sean Galloway, and so it's an interesting new version of that because of the internet, I think.
right, yeah,
But I was already too old when once forums started. I was always using my real name so that people knew who they were talking to, and
yeah.
always really
Exactly.
annoyed at people going, "Who's this person?" And they'd go, "Oh, that's John Smith." I go, "Has that been that person the whole time? Why didn't they just say so?"
Yeah. It is interesting that I find even the really higher profile pseudonyms like Stephen King and J.K. Rowling, it lasts to a point and then they roll over and they let everyone know, and the
Yeah,
publishing company re-releases the work with the famous
yeah,
names on it. It doesn't last, it doesn't stick.
yeah,
So
yeah,
as an experiment, I've never seen it be sustained for too
yeah,
long, because I think the proof is in the pudding that the name sells the book in a lot of cases.
yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
there were people who at early parts of their career, again, novels more than anything else, I would say, they will have an author pseudonym for the sci-fi stuff that they write, and an author pseudonym for the romantic stuff that they write, and basically build two separate fandoms who don't even know it's the same person.
Yeah, yeah.
And eventually it comes out and people realize, but they,
And
especially if it's a male, they'll take a female pseudonym to write the romantic stuff, or vice versa if they're writing action. So yeah.
in comics, one of the best examples of that, because their style differs for who they're drawing as, is Mobius, and
True.
not Jean-Luc Picard, that's Star Trek.
Gerard.
Gerard,
Yeah.
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 And the art styles are very different, and you can see why. Mobius is the science fiction stuff, and Gerard is the Western stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that works. In fact, that'd probably be the most successful example of what we're talking about, I suppose.
Happens in music as well. Like I just got into the KLF again for last week. I was playing a lot of whatever KLF was on the Spotify's. And again, if I had all the time in the world, I'd love to do a deep dive into what the hell that was in the early '90s, the KLF, because it was like a '90s version of the Monkees, right? A made up band, and but it was really successful, and nobody really knew who they were. A bit like Tism, utilizing pseudonyms and being really successful, and making up a backstory because of that. Making up a backstory as to like for the KLF especially, a really ridiculous backstory that is absolutely unbelievable, but really cool, storytelling, and making something that is more interesting than just being John Smith and his DJ deck.
World building exercise.
Yeah, like world building. Yeah, so very cool, and they were good fun. Even listening to them during the week, they were interesting to listen to. Still, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't listen to them much, but does Gorillas fall into that category with the comic book personas that band?
To a certain extent, yeah. Didn't they try very hard for a long time to not? I don't know. Did people know who the musical creative person was, like from day one? They probably did. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they probably did. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Made up pop groups are fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. So
brilliant. Thanks for that, Rook.
Yeah, that was a good one. That is pretty much all I've got on my list here. The only other thing I was going to mention was I got my copy of Dean Haspel's Antimatter.
Cool. I only bought the digital version.
Digital version.
Yeah.
And Dean Haspel comes highly recommended. Antimatter. It's not what I expected, but boy, was it fun. So
cool. I haven't read it yet. It's a one-man anthology, yeah?
That's right, manthology. Yes.
Is that right? A manthology.
A one-manthology.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So it comes highly recommended. So
yeah, friend of the show, Dean Haspel.
Yeah,
from New York.
Yeah, that's right.
I mentioned last week when we were talking about the Martin Sharp thing, that this was the only thing I was looking at bidding on. It's a one of 12 print book.
Is that the book that had the matchbox?
Yeah, little matchbox in it, matchbook in it. Yeah, because at the time when I was taking photos of it, because I'd never be able to own it, the one of the auctioneers said, it's listed as probably going for $50 to $100, and it ended up going for $1,300. So I don't expect I'll be getting that for my birthday. So yeah, there wasn't much from that auction that was passed in, and there wasn't much from it that was cheap either. So
wow. Well, that's no surprise there. No surprise at all.
Yeah. Anyway, that was fun.
Yeah.
Can I talk about something else we've talked about in the past?
Is it going to be interesting?
I hope so.
Okay. Well,
have we run out of time? Because this can wait, I suppose.
Let's risk it. It better be interesting, though.
All right. just edit me out if it's not interesting. Muscles McQuack is an Australian comic strip, mostly available on the Instagrams. Oh, I said Muscles McQuack, and you've woken up. Have you got something?
No, just reminded me of your the back page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, Muscles McQuack. Go for it.
So it's on Ivan Dixon's Instagram. Let me bring it up so that I can talk
Wasn't
about
Ivan Dixon one of the actors in Hogan's Heroes? Wasn't he the black guy?
it. I don't know. I don't think it's the same Ivan Dixon. You're probably right. Is that like a name that you've seen
Ivan
like
Dixon.
on the credits and it's burnt into your
I'll
brain?
have to Google through it. Yeah.
So
Anyway,
if
continue.
you look up on Instagram, Ivan Reese Dixon, EECE, Ivan Reese Dixon, you'll mostly see his Muscles McQuack work, but he's also, he runs an animation studio and etc. And one of the things that he's done recently is said, we're making a Muscles McQuack plushie toy. And I went, oh, that's cool. I mean, I won't be buying one because they'll probably be too expensive, and that's not the kind of merch I'm after. I'll wait and get the next book when you've got the next book out. Um, so the first book is out of print, and he's already said that it'll come back into print when he prints the second volume, which is in production right now. So it shouldn't be too long before you'll be able to buy both volumes 1 and 2. Don't read it if talking about pornography makes you blush, because it takes place in the adult film industry. But it's really good fun. It's quite wholesome, even though it's not wholesome, if you know what I mean. Um, so there's this plushie, and the way that it worked was really interesting. So there's a company in America called Gimme Swag, GIMMESWAG, Gimme Swag, and they run a campaign for you. So it's not a Kickstarter campaign; it's on the Gimme Swag website, and they ask for you to pledge $2 towards the plushie. And when they've got 100 people pledging $2, then they'll actually go into production and ask you to pay for the rest of it as well, right? So it's kind of a way to promise that you will end up spending, I think it's going to be $35 US plus shipping. So again, like we're starting to look at, probably to get it to Australia, we're probably looking at maybe $100 Australian. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought that's a really interesting thing, and they do this a lot. They for people like our level of comic book making, they will make the plushie for you from scratch. They'll design it, they'll make it, they'll box it, they'll ship it, and they'll run the campaign. If you can get 200 people to pledge, I don't know if it's always $2, but in this case it's $2. If you can get people to pledge $2, then they will start
Yeah,
production. So
interesting. What a good idea.
yeah. So I mean, we're filming on Monday. If everything goes according to plan, you'll be able to watch this on Thursday night, and I think the campaign ends on Friday our time. So if you're interested, even just to take a look while it's still live, then yeah, do that. Have a look at Ivan Reese Davies on no Ivan Reese Dixon on Instagram, and look at gimmeswag.com/collections/pledges/products/muscles McQuack plushie, or just type in Muscles McQuack, because there's not much else on the internet that'll come up if you type that in. I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, right.
So a lot of our comic book peers who aren't like fully up to their eyeballs in comics, like God help us, you and I are, who just want to make comics. A lot of our peers will make their living in animation, right? So that's what Ivan does. And the animation that comes out of his studio looks really cool. But there's another guy who is mostly an animator, Luke Humphries, not Humphries,
I've
Humphrys.
heard that name before.
Yeah, if you look that up on Instagram, you'll find it. Luke Humphries. He also makes like really cool little short animations, mostly about world building, whatever it is that he's writing at the moment. And what he's been doing lately has been very much a post-apocalyptic, quite Aussie, I think most of the time thing. But it's been aimed at a TTRPG that he's also been writing. So that's a tabletop role-playing game.
Yep.
So he's designed and made this TTRPG, which unfortunately has finished on Kickstarter, but they're going to be taking late pledges in a few months' time or something. So you'll be able to get it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the reason why I bring it up is like it's always funny what he puts on Instagram is always really interesting, well made, very grassrootsy, as in he's making it all himself, which is amazing. But because his latest project was not comics related, I haven't really looked at it until quite late, too late to really get you to be on board, even if you're interested in RPGs. But like I said, you'll be able to get it later. But what I wanted to say is his TTRPG is called When Society Collapsed, Damnation. So I guess the overall title is When Society Collapsed, and this particular story is called Damnation, DAM Nation. But do you want to know how much it raised? And I guess this is Australian dollars because it's not trying to convert it for me. So I'm assuming this is Australian dollars. You want to know how much the campaign raised?
$757.
$800,000.
Oh, wow.
$800,000 from 5,500 different backers. So 5,500 backers, 800,000, point eight of $1 million to make the TT RPG. So good luck to them. I'm very pleased that their world building and their desire to make a story in a tabletop game has been successful.
Yeah.
And I'm not an idiot. I know that so much of that money is going to go to making the book and making the figurines and making the box and etc. There's a lot of money that goes into putting together the game to send to people, and then it's costly to mail out. So I know that they're not walking away with $800,000, but wow, that's fantastic. That many
That's a big
dollars.
result. Yeah, big result. Wow. How do we get access to some of this money?
Yeah, that's coming up a lot in another Instagram profile I've started following recently. You look rich, give me some money. It's a term that's used often. You look rich, give me some money. So yeah, good on you, Luke. On you.
Okay. Well,
that'll do us, I think.
Yeah, there's nothing else on my list. So more power to Dean Haspiel and his Antimatter. I hope that he makes it available for other people to get physical copies or be able to get the digital one if you're overseas, because postage is a little bit sus at the moment from America.
Yeah.
The Rook email, we covered a lot of pseudonym questions there and nom de plumes.
Yeah.
Lee Chalker and Ryan Vella doing their SpaceCreeps. Follow that up on Facebook. It's a cheeky little 4-pager, which is the start of something much bigger, I think.
Fabulous.
So yeah, more power to them. You're going to start inking.
Lettering tomorrow.
Lettering, tomorrow.
Printing out blue lines, lettering.
Yeah. Me, I'm going to start inking.
Ink and color.
This afternoon, I'm just opening up all the files to see where I'm at, and then tomorrow I'll be able to start putting pen to paper. So next show, oh God, it's going to be a big thing to promise showing artwork. I promise I'm going to show some artwork of my newly inked pages.
Awesome.
For next week.
Yeah, good.
I
promise nothing.
No, it's okay.
I'm just going to carry on and see what happens between this week and next. But the idea is, I mean, I've got that poster there that's covering it up, but I'll move it so that you can see in the reflection that on the wall in front of me, I'll start hanging up at least blue lines. And by this time next week, I hope by this time next week, you will see the whole thing lettered and maybe inking started as well. Surely inking started as well.
Okay, cool. So what do we say to everyone then?
Hold on to your brain cells, kiddies. No, that's not it.
No, we'll get sued.
IP infringement. More comics more often.
More comics more often. Get real, Chal. Get real.
Yeah, get amongst it, Chals.
Get amongst it, Chal. Okay, talk soon.
See you.